This is Villa Kinworthy. Today we're going to do some family introductions. Welcome to Villa Kinworthy. My name is Dennis, and for the new subscribers who haven't seen much of my channel yet, I'd like to welcome you to my family, and for all of those who've been hanging on for a little bit, I'm going to show you the rest of my family. So you got to meet Yulia in our last video, and now you'll get to meet the pups, and we'll introduce you to the chickens, and then that mangy old cat I got. So I'd like to apologize to everyone that I haven't had a video out for a little bit. I think it's been about a month since I posted one, and I had a really busy holiday season, New Year's and Christmas. It took its toll on me at work. I was working a lot of hours, and then I got some really exciting news that had my attention as well. Turns out that I'm going to be a father. I couldn't be more excited about that. It's probably the best thing that could have happened to me at this time of year, and that really had my attention for a little bit. We've been celebrating that. So I'll start off with, we'll head on out to the garden. I'll show you around that a little bit just to kind of show you what the plans are coming up for this spring. I do have a couple other videos that'll be coming out here shortly as well. Currently, even while I'm filming this introduction, I'm making the bacon, so I've already done a video on that. So everyone that was waiting on a venison bacon recipe, that's coming up next. All right, let's head on out to the garden. So here's the garden. We start off at the entrance. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of raised beds that I built out of cinder blocks. This one right here to the left that I'm showing you is one of them that I've just kind of have fenced in a little bit. I grew corn and then I grow gourds and squashes and stuff there. A lot of these have a little small bed in the front. I've just been adding to it to expand the garden as I go. And I add soil and compost to these yearly. I've had this garden for 2 years now. What you're looking at here is the strawberry beds. I've got everything covered with straw just to kind of protect it for the winter. Whenever I shot this video, we didn't have any snow on the ground yet, but right now it's completely covered in snow. And then you can see in the background here, this is my little orchard. 2 back trees are going to be your cherry trees, and then a couple apple trees, and then a couple pear trees. Not a whole lot of room in between them, but they're all kind of dwarf trees, so I should be able to hold up. And then you can see my little greenhouse, and I got some buckets there that I use for planting in. Right now the greenhouse is going to serve as storage for the winter time, and then hopefully clean it out a little bit more. And you can see the chicken coops. I've got 2 of them. I'll explain that here in just a minute. And moving on, what I'm showing you right here is the leaf mulch that I use to insulate the roots. I just chop them up and then put them on there as insulation. And then here's some more buckets. These are what I use to grow cherry tomatoes in. And you can see the screws with strings. That's how I string up those tomatoes. So as we get into the growing season, you'll see a lot more of that, and I'll show you how I do it. We're in the compost area now. This is just the beginning of a compost pile. That's some leaves I shredded up from the front yard. And then I can show you the other compost pile that's working. So this one right here is the one I've got working that's starting to break down. It's doing pretty well. And then I have some dirt that's just about finished that I'll use for next year. So that's this dirt right here. It's been going for over a year now, and it's just about ready. So by next spring, it should be good to go. But that's how I get that good black dirt. There's a lot of sandy loam here, and this really helps with that situation, is make my own compost. And here we have Frank. He's the patriarch of our chicken group here. He's the kind of the big dog rooster. He'll be strutting around a little bit. Here in a second, he'll start kind of calling around to the other hens, and you'll see them come to him. He's just pecking at a piece of ice, but you'll see how he kind of gets them to gather with him. He really likes being the big dog right around there. Here in a minute, you'll see the other rooster. He's a little bit smaller guy, but equally as pretty. These are kind of a cross with a lot of Rhode Island red in them, but I don't think they're heritage Rhode Islands. We got them from a local hatchery just about 30 minutes from here, and we've had a lot of success with them, and we've grown a couple of broods from them. It's been going pretty good. This right here is the chicken coop. It was an old utility shed that was back here that I converted. As we go in, you'll see I just kind of cleaned it up, but you can tell by looking at the back that they are very messy critters. We have to clean this out several times a year. If you notice the walls, I did insulate and put up some plywood over the walls just to help keep them warm in the winter. We are in Wisconsin. It does get very cold. And then I just used some old crates that I got from the restaurant to make nesting boxes for them. They beat them up pretty bad, but we have kind of a happy hen there. And here's some more eggs that they laid. I straightened those baskets out quite a bit. There's around there's their feeders. I do have one other basket on the floor in case someone doesn't have room. They just have the water set up. That seems to work for them. And you like to use the bigger shavings so that they don't eat as much of them. But if you look at the window, I have some metal mesh put in between the glass and the pane there. And I just take out that glass to help cool things off in the summer. I did run power from my house out to this coop so that I could help with heat lamps and keep it warm in the winter. And here's the outside looking at the coop. It needs a paint job. We'll probably do this spring. And I have a protected run. You'll see that metal mesh going down below as well. I dug a couple of feet down and I buried some of that and curved it in so that no critters can get in. And then I cut a little door out and I just flipped that up and mounted that cinder block. As you can see, if you look at the top, I took some other chicken wire and protected them from the birds of prey. And here's Frank again showing off. He's just following me around seeing what I'm doing. I'm in our nursery coop right now, which I'll give you a little bit better view of here in a second. This one's just for use whenever we're growing the babies. I do butcher my own chickens, so this is what we have them in. And then the other one's the permanent coop. So I didn't do as much work to it. Here's Fire. He's our other rooster. He tends to stay away from Frank quite a bit, but he's a really beautiful bird. We kept him because I loved his coloring and I liked his comb. His mother was a really hardy, good-sized bird, so I wanted to bring on some of that genetics into the flock. Here he is again, trying to talk to some of the other gals. And you'll see that he'll see Frank coming, and once he sees him coming, he just says, "Oh, I'm going to get over here out of the way." He tries to stay away from him and doesn't want to get into any fights. We had another younger rooster, but unfortunately he passed away. And then Frank will come up and he'll just call the hens to him again. He really likes proving that all the ladies follow him. And the hens get curious too. They don't like you to touch them a whole lot, but they do get curious about what you're doing. And here are the pups. So that's Ajax to your left, Missy in the middle, and that's Sadie to the right. She actually belongs to a good friend of ours. We were babysitting her whenever I was making this video. She's a mainstay in our house. In the back there is Lucille. So this is Lucy. This is my oldest pup. She's 14 years old, and she's been with me since she was 7 weeks old. She's my absolute favorite. Jax likes to steal the attention quite a bit. But yeah, she's been with me through thick and thin, and I just couldn't imagine life without her. I'm hoping she's around for 100 more years, although I just don't think that'll happen. And she's going blind and deaf, so she does bark a lot to try to make some noise. And Missy's all agitated. They're wondering what I'm doing with the camera, so they're getting pretty excited about what's going on, wanting to show off. That's their little pig, Hamilton, and they are not very kind to him for some reason. They like to fight over him and chew on him. So they're pretty rambunctious. They protect our house and our yard. If I have any animals coming in trying to bother the chickens, I usually just cut them out and they run anything off. So it works out well. We like to keep them working. And the last member of the family, this is Inga. She's a rescue cat. I caught her in a parking lot running around. I was hoping she wouldn't get hit by a car, but no owner in sight. So we adopted her and brought her home. And she's a great mouser. And she takes care of things around the house as well. She sleeps outside at nights. Well, that's the family. I hope that you enjoyed meeting anyone. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to include them a little bit more, especially my old pup Lucy, who is absolutely my favorite. All right, leave some thoughts, subscribe, like, share with your friends. Let me know what else you want to see. All right, we'll see you next time.